So I saw the live action version of The Beauty and the Beast, and I really liked some parts of it and thought other parts really felt flat. And this is actually the same as the animated version, but interestingly enough, there are different parts. For the animated version, the Beast is the protagonist, and that's kind of the also the problem with both versions of this movie is that the Beast is the protagonist, and therefore Belle comes out flat. The Beast is the protagonist in that he's the one with the goal, he's the one with the motivation, he's the one who has the thing that is providing the main tension of the story. Is the Beast has to fall in love in order for he and his entourage to turn back into humans. Belle has motivations and desires, but not exactly goals. Certainly not goals that, pardon the focus, drive the story. Belle does not drive the story. The Beast's goals drive the story, as do Gaston's. But Gaston is the antagonist, so his goals run counter to the protagonists. But anyway, so this gets in the way in the animated version, which in that it makes Belle a little flat. Belle is in the animated version almost purely a thing to be won by the Beast. Now, she's not exactly dehumanized, but she doesn't really have that much agency or she doesn't have goals. She's not trying to do anything in particular other than maybe save her father and, get out of the boring, stinking village. But beyond that, she doesn't have that much to do. And we see this very much in the live action movie, because the live action movie makes the interesting choice of using the first few scenes, probably for the sake of not using up too much CGI. It focuses very heavily on Belle, and it does a different take on Belle with Emma Watson's Belle. She's much more tomboyish. She's a tomboyish inventor, intellectual, and these are traits that after the first act happens and she gets locked in the castle with the Beast, those traits go away almost immediately. So everything that made us care about her as a character at first kind of disappears throughout the rest of the script. Instead, we get stuff about her background and her mom, which, while compelling, is not the reason we like her. We like her because she's a rebel, not because she's missing her mom. That's not the. What's interesting about her is her goals, not her tragedy. Now, granted, the tragedy works for the most part. I mean, it's a little distracting in my opinion, but it works still. The live action Beauty and the Beast adds a lot, and I don't think it adds anything bad. In fact, I think a lot of the things that it adds are good, including exploring Belle's character a little more. But I wish that they had played with that a little more and kept that going throughout the film. Because at the second half of the film, it kind of starts lining up with the animated version again. And as such, it loses all of those things in the first half that made it interesting. Here's another thing that I thought was really interesting about the live action version. And again, it's a trade in characterization. For Belle, for instance, we lost quite a bit of the Beast's characterization in the live action version in order to get that focus on Belle. As in a similar case, we lose some characterization of Gaston to learn about LeFou. LeFou, in the No One Drinks Like Gaston song, in the live action version, you see that LeFou is the one playing both Gaston and the town. He's the one who controls Gaston, and he controls the crowd's attitude about Gaston. He's Gaston's producer. He's Gaston's stage manager, more or less. He's the man behind the curtain who makes it all work. And then he's not. Arguably, and then he's suddenly working with the people in the castle for no reason. You don't really, despite the fact that you see that LeFou is this great manipulator, you don't understand what his motivations are, other than maybe self-preservation. So, because it doesn't, as I said before, the movie doesn't follow through with the new ideas that it has, and the new ideas that it adds to the story in the first half. I think that's its main problem.